Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 back at it with another video for you guys. And I guess it's not my first video of the year, but hey, first video of the year for anime content and stuff like that on the channel. Welcome 2020. Which surprisingly and sadly is looking to be the last year of the manga of My Hero Academia, because if you didn't hear, Horikoshi made a comment saying that My Hero Academia should end this year, and that's it. It's over. Good God, man, it's gonna suck, but what it is. But yes, we're back with My Hero Academia, the manga, after going on essentially a holiday break. It is back now for a chapter for now because it's going on break again. So yeah, but yes, let's get to My Hero Academia manga chapter 339. And it's titled the story we became heroes, of how we all became heroes, part 2. So obviously, if you last remember the whole thing with Hatsume showing up and being over Deku's face, like the one moment when we first were introduced to Hatsume. Well, let's get to it. Anyways, Hatsume gets up. She's like, "Hey guys, hey Deku, Ida, what are you guys doing here? What do you guys need and everything?" And Deku's office is like, "My danger sense didn't freaking activate. Why did it not activate?" And freaking Ida's like, "Bro, it's just her boobs, man. You just doesn't matter. Like, seriously." So yeah, now they're going to say that they put in the request to repair their costumes, but Hatsume said, "Why not put in a request to the item agency like usual?" And Ida says, "Well, the agencies are, there's been disruption to the typical exchange of goods and services these days. We now need to apply on the support course and everything." Hatsume's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense and everything." Now, Deku and Ida, hearing that point, they're like thinking that, oh, it must seem that May does not know what's going on in the real world and everything. So yeah, now they end up going into the support room area with Power Loader, their instructor, there and everything. So he goes in to say, costume repairs are in here and everything like that. And we actually see the support course room for like the first time in a long time, and it is massively different. And even that's what Ida and frickin' Deku make the mention the fact. And we found out that essentially the support course essentially created the UA barrier, and they essentially monitored the UA barrier to make it functional and operational and everything. So it's pretty cool to see that, okay, the support course actually were the ones behind the development and the building of the UA barrier. Makes sense. You have all these smart students, hey, put some use to them and everything. So yeah, now Deku shows off his mid gauntlets to Hatsume, saying he needs them repaired. He goes on to say they're just a prototype, but at least do the best you can to repair them and everything. So yeah, now she asks him like, "So when do you need them? Do you need them like fast?" And obviously Deku's like, "Yes, I'm gonna need them like honest to God in like a few days or so." And surprisingly, Hatsume is like, "Sadly, I can't do that for you." And they're all shocked and everything. And Hatsume goes and say, "With that level of damage, I need to remake them basically from scratch. And the lack of condominium for the compression and we lack the component for the compression material." And Hatsume's just walking up like, "Can't do it," and everything and stuff like that. So yeah, now Ida wants her to fix his obviously hero costume armor. And she even goes like, "Well, I can't do it because I don't have the spec docs either," and stuff like that. So yeah, now some other support students go and say, "Listen, it's okay. We can actually fix those for you and stuff like that. We're in Hatsume's class. We can get done with. We will fix them for you and stuff like that." And they're obviously wondering like, okay, why did Hatsume not do this? And her classmates say Hatsume takes to tinkering like a fish to water, so I'm assuming she would offer us an aid. And obviously Deku asks, what is she working on? And essentially we see that Hatsume is working on the UA barrier in terms of the escape plan they have of trying to have it to where it's like, oh, certain areas, chunks, they're able to fly off and get to safety if say they were attacked or something, which is a pretty interesting design and stuff like that. And we go on to find out from Power Loader that He enlisted Hatsume to help improve our defenses. She's busy concocting these new mechanisms in case of a mass evacuation. He goes on to say, like I alluded to before, her zeal and inventive mind put her in a league of her own. And we've already known Mei Hatsume is a very talented, I guess you can say, inventor. But this chapter kind of elaborates more the fact that she's even a better inventor than she looks, and from the standpoint she sees herself doing this is a way of her doing her own hero work, like obviously Deku and the others do their own hero works. Now Hatsume goes on to say, even a perfect A+ idea could drop to an A- in a flash. When I think of a new baby, I gotta raise it right. That's some wisdom from me, and stuff like that. So Deku's like, oh, okay, now I understand and stuff like that. And obviously he goes on to say out loud, he's like, so I'm guessing you don't pay attention to what's going on in the world. You just focus on making your inventions and everything. And that's when Hatsume says, don't be so stupid and dense, Midoriya. And she goes on to say, of course I'm aware of what's going on in the real world and everything, you know. And she goes on to say, listen, we people in the support group the support class may not be fighters, but just like how you guys are trying every trick in the book to protect as many people as possible, we're tackling it in our own way. Which I definitely did like this insight. Again, it brings another whole type of insight to another group of people in this world where essentially they just make support items to help heroes out and just make different inventions for really modern day society. And, you know, I like this whole statement of Hatsume saying, like, hey, just because you're the guys doing the grunt work and the whole hard lifting, we still have a chip in this too and everything. You know, we help support and you know, this is our way of essentially, you know, doing something heroic. And I did like the fact that she still goes on to say, like, you get a nice, cute little panel, Mei Hatsume saying, inventing stuff is how the support course does heroics. Now, you can say you can interpret this scene how I take it or however you take it, but I take it as like it made me feel like this was like the one time we actually see like Mei Hatsume actually not be so reflective on her inventions, but she just looks at the grand world as a whole scheme, and she just looks at the whole world scheme, and we actually go to see that she does have compassion and care for what's going on in the whole world. She isn't, you know, just a crazy invention girl, but you know, that's what I like about Mei Hatsume. Even though she is a very boisterous, outgoing, intriguing character to say the least, especially when we were first introduced to her, and she gave off the impression like she doesn't really care about anything else outside of her inventions. Just getting this chapter to make her, I guess you could say, have her character a little bit look a lot, or how can I say this? It makes her character sound a lot more humanized than when we originally first met her, because I know when we originally first met her, it seemed like she only really cared about her adventures. She didn't really care about other people around her, and stuff like that. Even if maybe she was, it just didn't look that way. And here you see that no, Mei Hatsume actually genuinely cares and understands the situation and the urgent need. So I bet you during this whole thing, she was probably stressed out of her mind and everything to try to get this thing to all work and everything. So, you know, credit to Mei Hatsume. This chapter makes me just love her character a lot more than I already did. I liked her character, but, you know, I just love her character after seeing this chapter. And what happens is she eventually freaking gives Deku back his mid gauntlets with his what is it, his Air Force gloves. I think they're attached to the gauntlets and everything, and she fixed them within seconds and everything. Now a lot of people might have issues with it, like, okay, why is she able to fix it that fast? Listen, I say because Mei Hatsume is a great inventor, and then two, with the pace the My Hero Academia story is going, which is essentially very intense, a very fast pace, well, you're gonna get things like this that probably don't make no sense. But for the grand scheme of things, Horikoshi said he wants to finish the story within the year, so you're gonna have to deal with it. That's the pacing we're going. And like I said, I'm fine with the fast pace. Just make sure these story points conclude really well and they're done and they're given time to do that. and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the thing. And she also gives Ida back his armor and everything and stuff like that, and kind of gets out of there and stuff like that. Now the other support hero students go on to say, please give your hero course pals a message, and that's winning this battle. Now Deku and Ida end up going to meet up with the other pro heroes. Now the interesting thing is Deku's wearing his UA tracksuit. He's not wearing like some new hero costume outfit of his, mostly because his original outfit was trash. I thought maybe, he makes another costume. Maybe he does get his new remodeled, hero costume again and everything. But seemingly he's wearing his freaking UA sweat jumpsuit thing. Which, funny enough, I was watching another review where it's kind of a callback to like the very first season when he first encountered the League of Villains. He was wearing that. There you go. He wears it here. I personally think we're gonna see a new costume of his before the true ultimate final battle and stuff like that, because it makes sense. I just don't picture him wearing his UA jumpsuit fighting Shigaraki, but hey, if he is, okay, fine by me. It is what it is. Personally, I just rather see him in his hero costume, to be honest, and everything. Now, they end up going on to meet up with the rest of their classmates. Now, Mount Lady is there, and she goes on to say, I've heard about what Class A has been through, but sadly, we cannot afford to waste a single day at this point. Our best case scenario is finding and mopping up the Liberation Front and the League of Villains as soon as possible. That would solve this whole mess, so we're not abandoning the original plan altogether. And standing around all dazed and confused is just playing into the enemy's hands. Now, they also wonder if Ayama will actually take their hand and help them in this. And Deku goes on to say, I have faith that Ayama will come back and he will assist us, and stuff like that. And Bakugo's like, well, that is assuming if he doesn't, well, essentially, he says on curse, he has some sort of curse, but essentially if he doesn't end up dying earlier than anything. Now, Todoroki goes on to say, I think he will, because he always had his sights set on the man he wants to be more than any of us and everything. Now, they all head out. Midoriya is obviously at the center of this operation. Class 1A's of UA's Hero Corps search squad assemble. Now, we cut over to the Kansai region, and we see the teamwork of Ryuko, Fat Gum, Nejire, who actually has shorter hair. She got a haircut. And we see Tamaki, and they're helping out some my goodness, some civilians out there and everything. And they're going to say, like, it's really hard to believe that these dang villains started tossing their weight around here in the boonies and everything. But obviously, they're saying at least the people are safe and we can let them freaking rest. Now, Fat Gum goes on to tell these two civilians that they actually save, or these people that they save, that they'll take them over to the Shiketsu High and stuff like that, because their fortress is just as sturdy as UA. So maybe we see Shiketsu High students in the near future. We'll just find out. Hopefully we do. Again, obviously, I think a lot of people want to see Kami again, because who wouldn't want to see Kami? She's hot. Yes, I want to desperately see Kami again. So yeah. Anyways, that's the whole thing there. Now Ryuko goes and say, but fewer people means much less intel. We're in a tight spot. And Fat Gum goes on to say, you know what this means? The chapter ends off with Fat Gum saying, gone are the days of slinging sneak attacks and raids at each other. Now it's the opposite. Both sides are pulling out at all stops, gearing up for a true blue all-out war on every front. And the last panel in the chapter is of All Might, with Hawks behind him saying, so about our plan B, let's review the key info about that other battle that could decide it all. And that's where the chapter ends. We'll probably find out more details about that plan in the next chapter, but the only problem with that is we're gonna have to wait at least 2 weeks to get the next chapter, because the next chapter is not coming out till 13 days from now. So yeah, but I enjoyed this chapter. Just getting to understand Mei Hatsume and stuff like that, and the fact that we are getting closer to the final battle. My Hero Academia is ending quicker than later, because like I said, Horikoshi did have an interview where he said, if things are going right and there's no abrupt delays, My Hero Academia should finish within the year. So essentially we have to expect My Hero Academia to end in 2022, which is very sad, to be honest. I never thought the story be ending this soon already. But like we all say, all good things must come to an end. It's just like we really, you know, the more we just read these chapters, especially for me, I think we just have to make sure we just live in the moment of when we read these chapters, because literally these are going to be the last chapters of the story, the main story, and then My Hero Academia is done. I will say this about Horikoshi. I respect him for willing to say, I just want this story to be over with and end and finish this, because he doesn't want this story to drag on over and over and over again, because eventually, you know, he might get burned out, or maybe he just runs out of ideas. I will say I respect the point that he rather wants to finish the story now. Now, who's to say maybe he makes a sequel series a few years down the road and everything, and he brings the characters back? Who knows? He could do that. He could not. I definitely see it as a way he wants to end the story. Maybe give himself a break from doing manga and stuff like that. I don't know if he does any other mangas currently alongside My Hero Academia, but maybe he wants to take a break. Maybe, and maybe, who knows? Maybe he makes a sequel series of My Hero Academia and he comes back with it. Who's to say that he doesn't do that? We'll see. But you know, as a reader, I'm really gonna make sure I enjoy every chapter I read from going forward, because who knows, it could be the final chapter of the story, and stuff like that. So yeah, but we're getting close to the end of My Hero Academia, so yeah, that's it. But anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's manga chapter. What are your hype levels for the next chapter, as well as your thoughts on Horikoshi saying this is going to be the final year of My Hero Academia for the manga? As well as hit that subscribe button if you want to get more My Hero Academia content, as well as any other anime content on the channel, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of it. I did a Black Clover manga chapter review earlier, and it's going to be in the outro. So if you want to get my thoughts on the Black Clover review, hit that video in the outro and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of it. Also, one more thing, if you wondered why I just didn't talk about the chapter earlier, because I know the chapter released like a week earlier, the unofficial translations. Yeah, I could have talked about it. I read the unofficial translations for the manga, but I just didn't want to do it. I really just wait for the official translations to come out and then do my reviews from there on, because we actually have legit confirmation. And it's pretty simple videos for me to do, but it is what it is. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll channel this video. Until then, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.